All right, Lane Hankins here with Insomniac Sports. We finally figured out how to get some of our podcasting stuff on the air and from our microphones to YouTube for everyone to listen to. And we'll be posting these onto the Twitter page as well. But I wanted to get a few more things out of the way testing-wise, so I thought might as well go ahead and start talking about White Sox baseball. Anybody that's been following the show for as long as we've been doing it, I am a White Sox fan, and there's great reason to be excited for what the White Sox have going on right now. They got a lot of young talent out of some heartbreaking yet good trades, and there's a lot to be looking forward to. And this year is the first year we really get to see all that talent kind of play together and see what we're going to have coming up in the coming years. And I know the season just started, and so that's a good time to start talking about this stuff. See what they're doing early. I know the White Sox have had a history the past couple of years of playing really good baseball in April and into May, and then just kind of tailing off for the rest of the season. But hopefully this year they can change the trend, and hopefully it just doesn't flip around backwards and they play really bad now and really good late. But hopefully they can play at least consistently throughout the entire year. Am I expecting a playoff race for the White Sox? No. What I am expecting is to finish maybe about third in the AL Central, not the East, and see what this young talent has to offer. And maybe by the end of the year, when we have minor league call-ups, get guys in there like Luis Robert, see what he has to do, Mick Rodolfo, Eloy Jimenez. And I'm really looking forward to Michael Kopech, the pitcher. Now, I'm a big pitching guy. I love pitchers. My favorite all-time baseball player is Mark Burley. So I've got pitchers pretty high on my list. Always have and probably always will. So if we go ahead and we can start talking about that, day one, the White Sox, and I say this quote-unquote ace, James Shields took the mound. Now, was I even expecting the Sox to win this game? No. Anytime James Shields starts a game, I do not expect them to win. I expect him to give up too many runs and that it's going to be too hard for them to come back and score anything to make it even close by the end of the game. So when Shields took the mound in Kansas City, I was really more so excited just to see guys like Nicky Delmonico, Yoan Moncada, those guys get their first opening day start and see what they did with it. And after the first inning, I was really down on the Sox. I thought, man, they are going to just blow this game so bad on the first day when everyone has all these expectations. And, good reason to, because Shields gave up 4 runs in that first inning. He gave up a home run as well. So after that first inning, I was really, not expecting anything. And then as the game went on, Shields was steady. He didn't have any strikeouts, but he got the outs needed through 6 innings, and he kind of kept the Sox in it for once, and that's something you really need out of him, because I can say this from a personal standpoint of games I've been to where he's pitched, he'll give up a home run on the first pitch. James Shields is not big game James like people remember. And of course it definitely helped with Matt Davidson hitting 3 home runs that day. That little bit of baseball history there. And, the bats were hot. And that is one thing that the Sox haven't had really consistently the past couple of years. Chris Sale can attest to that. He'll get in there and throw a near perfect game, but they'll end up losing it 1-0 because the bats just couldn't do anything for him. And that really sucks because I love Chris Sale. And, like I said earlier, heartbreaking trades, that was one of them. I just hated that trade, but seeing all that we got back for him, it'll probably turn out to be an incredibly smart move. And, good job, Rick Hahn, for taking all the hate from the fans for doing that, but you're probably going to end up building a more sustainable baseball team with the pieces you got for him instead of keeping him. So yeah, James Shields did great, and Abreu also hit a home run. You had Tim Anderson hitting 2 home runs on the same day. Whenever you get guys hitting multiple home runs in a game, you would think, that's just easy. Game one right there, you got guys hitting multiple home runs. Well, I've actually seen the Sox hit back to back to back to back home runs, have 9 home runs in a game and still lose. So you got to be careful with that with the White Sox. Other than that, everybody seemed to play really well. Gregory Infante came in for an inning, only gave up a hit. No runs scored. Luis Avalon came in, gave up 2 hits for an inning, but he did give up that 1 run. He had the first strikeout of the game for White Sox pitchers. Then Juan Minaya came in and he gave up 2 runs. Not good. I know I was kind of questioning him at the end of last season as well. And then Aaron Bummer came in and got that last out to secure the White Sox win 14-7 that day. And everybody played really good, like I said. Looking at the stats here, I'd like to see more out of Moncada. He had 6 at-bats and only had 1 hit. A little bit more from Avi Garcia as well. He had 6 at-bats, but he had 2 hits. And the person I was most impressed with on that opening day was Matt Davidson, going 4 for 3. 3 for 4. Oh my gosh, what am I even saying right there? He was going 3 for 4. He had 4 runs himself. He had 5 RBIs. And then that missed opportunity was a walk, so that doesn't even really count. So Matt Davidson was basically perfect on the day. Nicky Delmonico, he only got 1 real at bat, and he didn't do much with it, but he did have 2 walks on the day, so he was at least out there running bases. One of the biggest pickups the White Sox had in this offseason was catcher Wellington Castillo, and this first game was really disappointing. In my eyes, he had 5 at bats, didn't get a hit, didn't get a walk, and he struck out. And his average on the day was 0. So that was really disappointing at first. But later on, I got a little bit more hope from him. But his catching ability was really good. He played catcher really good from what I was able to watch of the game. Tim Anderson, like I said before, hit a home run. Yomer Sanchez, he's one of my favorites. He had 3 RBIs on the day. He had a walk, struck out twice, but he did get 1 hit, and he scored a run himself. And one of the big surprises, I think, for a lot of people is going into this year, center fielder Adam Engel. Some people really didn't think he deserved the starting spot there in center field. They thought maybe Larry Garcia should have it instead. Or maybe even keep up Luis Robert. But Adam Engel really came around this offseason, and he really showed it in Arizona. His range out there in the outfield has greatly increased. His glove work's improved, and the biggest thing that he really needed to work on in the offseason was his swing when he's up to bat. Last year it was really awkward. He held the bat up real high, and he came through with a very lackadaisical swing. This year he's got a nice grip on there. He's got the bat down a little bit more, and he comes through and he swings with a very confident swing, some good power behind it. And that's one thing that was really holding him back last year from being better than what he was. I know his rating on the show was only like a 57, I want to say. And I know they really don't know how, they're not watching him every week, judging how good he actually is, because I think he's a good center fielder. He's just got to work on some things. But yeah, now they can go back out there and look and maybe raise his rating up to like a 70-something, So that was good to see Adam Engel playing a lot better already in the first game of the season. What the thing I was concerned about this year was the relief pitching, and that did kind of struggle, at least for Minaya and Avalon, but the season's young. You got to see what else they're going to be doing. So that was the first game, and the second game was it was pretty good as well. Giolotto got to start in this second game against the Royals, and I was kind of surprised to see that he had the number 2 spot in the pitching rotation. Everybody in the White Sox organization knows how good Miguel Gonzalez is, so I thought the starting rotation this year would probably be Shields, Gonzalez, Lopez, Giolotto, Fulmer. For one, I didn't even actually think Fulmer was going to make the starting rotation, but that being said, that he did, that's why I put him there at the 5 spot, and that's where he currently sits anyways. But Gio did really good, in my opinion, in this game. He got the first strikeout by a starting pitcher in the White Sox season this year. He went a full 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, but it was early, and so he was able to keep the Sox in this game, and they came back later on with a home run from Moncada in the 8th, and some much-needed RBIs from Wellington Castillo as well as Matt Davidson. Castillo hit a double, which really boosted my confidence in him going into next couple games, especially because the first game he went over. Moncada improved in this game as well. He had 4 at bats, 1 walk, 1 hit, not bad. He did have a strikeout, which is not good. But everybody else, fairly solid. Delmonico struggling a little bit here at the beginning of the year, as we're seeing. In the first game, he only had that single hit and at 4 plate attempts, and now again in this next game he went 0 for 4, this time without a walk. Opening week jitters, I guess you could say. And then the bottom of the order is a little bit of a struggle as well. Wellington Castillo had 4 at bats, but he did get one big double to get some RBIs in. He struck out twice, not good. Tim Anderson only went 1 for 4 at the plate, and he had a strikeout as well. Yolmer Sanchez 1 for 4, Adam Engel 1 for 4. So a little bit of struggle at first. I'm sure that'll improve as the year goes on. A lot of these guys like Adam Engel, Wellington Castillo, Nicky Delmonico, and Moncada, those guys haven't been in this organization for very long. Obviously they've been playing baseball for probably most of their lives, but when you switch over to a different organization, not only is it moving and learning the guys around you and learning new coaches, but it's just a whole different atmosphere. And these guys they'll adjust. Give them time. I expect big things out of them. The pitching in this game, aside from Giolito, looked pretty good as well. They didn't give up any other runs out of that. Farquhar got the win. I probably said his name really weird there. That's okay. Even though he only pitched for a single inning, he got a strikeout though. Nate Jones came in and got got 2 strikeouts for a full another inning, and then Soria with the save at the end. He gave up a hit, but he got that strikeout as well as the other 2 outs to end the inning and give the White Sox the win. Third game against the Royals got postponed due to the threat of snow. If can't play in snow, then what were they doing today when it was snowing when they were playing the Tigers? But we'll get to that. Then the White Sox had to take a trip up to Canada and play in Toronto. And in that first game, the Sox got their first loss of the season, 4-2. And in this one, I was pleasantly surprised to see Lopez pitch as good as he did. He went a full 6 innings, only gave up a single run, which that's okay. You give up 1 run, that's not so bad. He had 6 strikeouts. That's more than any Sox pitcher at that point. And I believe even right now, currently, that's more than any Sox pitcher right now. So that's great. Luis Avalon, again, gave up another run. Dude's struggling a little bit. He gave up, he only had faced one batter, and then he got yanked for Farquhar, who came in and gave up another 2 runs, and then Aaron Bummer came out and finished it off. But the hitting, there it is again. Like I was saying, past few years, they've been struggling to get the bats hot. And this one, they definitely struggled to get it going. Castillo hit 2 home runs, and that was the only runs they had the entire game. And that's just boosting Castillo's confidence, but where's everybody else at? Moncada going 1 for 3 with another walk. Garcia, Avi going 0 for 4. Abreu hit real well. He was 3 or 4. Matt Davidson 0 for 4. Tim Anderson 0 for 4. Larry Garcia, 0 for 4. Yolmer Sanchez, 0 for 1. Not bad. He came in later in that game. Adam Engel, 0 for 3. So, where's the hitting at, guys? Needs to be a little bit better there, but pitching looked real good in that game, and I'm really excited to see how Lopez continues to pitch this year, because I got high hopes for this guy. As we go into the next game against the Jays, it got even worse. They lost 14-5. And you never want to see these games where you're getting beat and the opposite teams in double digits, but sometimes that happens. This one we had Miguel Gonzalez pitching, and things didn't look good for him, but it wasn't all his fault. Yeah, he had 5 earned runs, but a couple of those were defense not quite getting to balls. There was an error on Anderson's part, I remember. So, stuff happens. Miggy's still a good pitcher. I believe in him, and he'll get it going. Don't worry. He did have 4 strikeouts, which is good. Hector Santiago came in. He gave up 3 runs as well, and then Infante just got bombarded. He gave up 5 runs himself. So, when you got your first 3 pitchers giving up 5, 3, and 5, you're not having a fun game unless your guys are hitting a bunch of home runs as well. At least Minaya was able to get in there and get the last out and be able to finish off the game, before any further damage was done. In this game, though, the hitting was there a little bit. Had Anderson with a home run, Garcia with a home run, Yolmer Sanchez with a home run. So things were looking, fairly good, but they just couldn't keep it going through 9 innings. They got the hits in the they got the runs in the 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and the 8th. And the Blue Jays just piled on in the 3rd and the 4th, and then 7 runs in the 8th. You can't be doing that. You got to be able to strike guys out, and they were unable to do that in that game. The last game in Toronto, they were able to get the win 4-3, and this was Carson Fulmer's debut, and I didn't know what to think of him going into this. I thought, man, they need to be putting this dude in the bullpen, but he came out and he pitched really well. He went a full 5 innings, had 5 hits, gave up 3 runs, but 3 runs isn't a whole lot. You can get that in a single home run if you got other guys on base. He had 5 strikeouts, which is really good. So he had a solid debut, I would say. Nothing crazy, but nothing, too poorly. It wasn't like James Shields' day 1 where he gave up 4 runs and didn't even have a strikeout, Aaron Bummer came in, got a strikeout, didn't give up any runs. Farquhar came in, no runs. Nate Jones, no runs. Soria, no runs. So from then on, the pitching was strong. The relief pitching was great, and it took care of business. The hitting was a little bit better that day. Had Davidson with another home run, Abreu with the late home run to give him the win, and piling on RBIs. Davidson, Moncada's gotten a couple more now, so the numbers are starting to get to where we're expecting them to be. Ivy Garcia's hitting just over 300 for his average. Davidson's hitting the mid 200s. Abreu, he's hitting over 400 right now, which if he could keep that going all season, that'd be fantastic. Is it going to actually realistically happen? No. Yolmer Sanchez is hitting a solid 333. Fantastic. Timmy Anderson, love seeing him at 300. If anybody's following the Sox, past year and a half, he's really struggled with his hitting, and some people thought it was because he couldn't see very well, so he got some glasses to play in, and he's improved a little bit, but it wasn't anything dramatic. It was enough that he was hitting the ball a little bit better, and whatever works. I'm just glad that he's finally starting, or seemingly at least getting into a groove and being able to hit consistently. And then we get into the game today, where the Detroit Tigers travel to Chicago. And the game started off, perfectly fine, a little chilly outside, nothing too crazy. And then we had some snow flurries dropping in, and then it just continued and got thicker and thicker, and the snow was just coming down. And we had, a familiar face in the booth today as well, with Hawk Harrelson getting in there and doing some great things up there in the booth. But this one, the White Sox they just really gave this one up. It looked like the White Sox of old. They had the lead in this game. It was about 7-3, and then 4, and then it just got away from them. I don't even know how to describe this game. It was just pathetic at the end there. James Shields got to start again after how strong his last outing was. I thought maybe he'd give up a couple runs early and then finish out. He gave up 3 runs, 8 hits, and they got him after 5. He got his first strikeout of the season, about time. They put Farquhar in there for 1.1 innings. I thought maybe they should have left him in there a little bit more. He got 3 strikeouts, no hits, no runs, but that's not my call. They put Luis Avalon in there, and he still, no runs, no hits, 2 strikeouts. Let the guy keep going a little bit more. Then they put in Nate Jones, and he gave up a run, getting a little bit closer there. Then the big mistake came. They put in Soria, and, Soria is supposed to be our closer. He's going to finish off the game, and he gave up 3 runs today off of 4 hits, one of them being a home run. So that was definitely not good. And then you put in the Mad Bomber and Gregory Infante, and he got lit up for 2 runs today. His ERA currently is 37.8. That's horrible. And then Aaron Bummer came in too late, and he didn't give up any runs. He got the last couple outs, and I don't know, the Sox just blew it in this game. It was solid hitting at first too. Moncada struggled today, but Avi Garcia had 2 hits. Abreu struggled. Davidson did all right. He was 2 for 3. Yomer Sanchez was 3 for 5. Not bad. Tim Anderson was 1 for 3. That's not bad. He also got walked twice, though, so, that's almost a perfect hit count then. Narvaez went 500. He had a hit and a walk off of 4 appearances. So it wasn't bad, but they just couldn't figure it out at the end, and it killed them. And that's the White Sox I'm used to seeing, but I hate that. You think you're safe with a 7-3 lead, and then boom, you get lit up. And Detroit's not even that good. I'm seeing Detroit, maybe getting 4th or 5th in this division, and the White Sox definitely have the power to beat them, but it just didn't happen. Hopefully tomorrow they can get that done, and tomorrow I mean on Friday the 6th. Hopefully they can get it done and get another W, keep it going. Right now the Sox are at 300, 3-3. Hopefully they can get another win, get above that 500 mark, and hey, there you got a better record than the Cubs right now, so that's good. That's fun messing with fans. Maybe next time I do this, I'll get Tyler in here so I can razz him a little bit more about the Cubs. But the way the Sox are right now, they should probably be about 5-2, but 3-3 at this point, as bad as they've been the past few years, I'm perfectly fine with that. There's a lot to build on there, but there's a lot of things that are good that I like seeing out of them. The pitching, starting pitching at least, I have high hopes for. The bullpen definitely needs improvement, but a lot of these guys, haven't pitched in the system before, so give them time, they'll be fine. And, hopefully I'll keep up with doing this, because, I got a lot of hope for these White Sox, and they're on the rise for sure. So we'll see if I can at least remember to keep doing it. Maybe it'll be something fun for me to do over the summer when I'm not in school anymore. But yeah, so again, this was Lane Hankins of Insomniac Sports. We're testing out some new things for our podcasts, and be looking out for more from us. I know today it was just a single guy, but give it time. We'll have more people on here. We'll have some guests. We'll have the regular co-host Tyler in here soon. So yeah, be on the lookout for more from us. Thank you for listening. Catch you next time.